Welcome to Off the Crypto Cuff. My name is Jeffrey. This is my friend Jesse. Welcome to the roundtable where we talk on crypto, current events, and how it actually relates and can affect the market. Please like, share, subscribe, and let's kick this off.
All right.
Cheers.
So I'm drinking the Bondstone Triple Oak.
And I'm drinking the Pomperio rum anniversary.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't too bad itself. It's the first time I've opened the bottle, so
yeah. Triple Oak.
Yeah, Triple Oak. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Shot. Yeah. Next time
it lasts that long. Huh?
Yeah, no, I tend to hold on to it for a while. I'll drink a little bit and then I'll move to something else. So it's hence why every time we're doing this, I'm gonna have a different bottle sitting here. So so yeah, let's get started here. You brought up this on the screen here, market cap. Do you want to get started and talk about that?
Yep. There we go. Hey, we're both in it and it looks good. Okay, there we go. All right. So from one of the comments, somebody was asking, how does somebody new get started? So the first thing really is to take a look at exchanges. Depending on your jurisdiction where you are, can actually determine what cryptos you actually have available to you. I would suggest actually signing up for actually at least 2 exchanges. You never know what's going to happen between one if you're needing to offboard or whatever. I mean, things happen. And also different exchanges, their lists of what they have available could be slightly different. So you'd be opening your world up just a little bit more by having more than one. With the page that I actually have up, and I'll have the links to these sites in the description of this video. This is coinmarketcap.com. From the top, you can actually see what coins been recently added. They have some articles here, and they're showing the fear and greed index. So that's basically the overall market sentiment of where things are. And this is where things get a little upside down. It's like when things are red or high fear, that's your buying opportunity. But when things are high greed, that's actually your sell opportunity. So it's kind of gut wrenching and it's kind of upside downs or backwards when, you're actually doing it, because you're like, oh my God, the market's going down. It's going, everybody's panicking. It's going to zero. No, but there's that. And
not financial advice, just
exactly.
Yep.
Nothing we say is financial advice. That's a good point.
We say do your own research, and that's what this is about right here.
That's what this page is about, and then that's where this actually kind of helps. Is we are giving kind of recommendations, but not advice. So kind of the recommendations that we got, Blockchain Backer and Kevin Cage. These are YouTubers that have been in the market now longer than we have. And I think it was Kevin Cage that basically did actually spell this out. It's like when you're getting started, try to stay within the top 100 cryptos. And this is organized by market cap. That's basically giving you a gauge of how much liquidity there is. The smaller the market cap, the more volatile it's going to be, the more likely you're going to lose. Is there a chance of actually having bigger gains? Yes, but you have to weigh those risks yourself. So since pretty much everybody knows Bitcoin or should know Bitcoin at this point, I want to use it as the example for basically trying to get started on research. So this is what the page would look like. It's current total supply, its max supply, what its market cap is if it's fully diluted. So it's $1.2 trillion. It's an amazing number. But one of the things that you want to look for is the official links. And this is a thing that you want to look for is the white paper for doing that research. That's going to tell you why it exists, how it works, those sorts of details. These things can get very technical. And even if you're not technically minded, it's still worth a glance at it, because even a layman should be able to pick up, is this a legit thing, or is this kind of garbage of what they're talking about? Yeah. So that's one of the things you want to be looking for. Have any thoughts on this, Jesse?
So just real quick too, you're looking at this chart. You can see if you look at the top right there, there's 1 day, the 1D, 7D, 1M, 1 year all. So right now we're looking at the 1 day chart. So if you open that up to like say the 1 month, you can kind of see what's been happening over the month. It looks a lot different when you zoom out. Also, I think there's some other settings over there on the left. You can change how your graph is being viewed in a bunch of different ways. One of the things we tend to look at is usually down at the bottom of the screen. What's the how much is being bought, and it can fall off. No, I think it was at the bottom there of the graph you're on, not down. Yeah, the volume is what we're looking for.
The volume down here.
Yep. So what was with the volume? It's been a while since I've looked at the graphs myself, but I know when the volume's high, it's kind of, you don't want to be buying, right? Is that it can because it starts getting to overselling essentially.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
there's a better tool for this.
Yeah.
Let me switch this around real quick. Give me 1 second so I could flip over.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. I just was something I wanted to highlight.
I've got it right here. So I'm on. So this is TradingView, and this is Bitcoin. So this is my chart. Any professionals out there know that you're going to laugh, but this is my attempt at doing some technical analysis. But yeah, so you do have the volume, which is these down here. So this is how much liquidity is coming in and out. So you can see the days that sold, the days that bought. But what you're actually talking about is this down here, which was not on the coin market cap. This is the RSI.
Yeah, RSI. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So you can actually see where it actually popped way up here where it was oversold, and now it's actually kind of cooled off. So you can actually see that this right here is correlating to what's going on right now. It's like we're just in a really tight, it's a volatile, it's a big swing. It's, between a bottom of 57,000 to a top of 60. So you're talking like a $3,000 swing, but it's just consolidating. It's still, considering how big the market cap is, still, it's just a 5% swing going back and forth. And so until it decides it's going to move again. So
it's all part of doing your own research, basically. Sometimes you want to kind of watch what things are doing before you jump in, just even with the graphs and stuff, if you kind of understand what's going on there. Because you can kind of almost predict what's going to happen, if you look at these graphs and chart them well.
Yeah. And I'm still an amateur at charting. I just basically did a Google search on it. There's a lot of YouTube YouTube tutorial videos out there. People that actually describe what the different metrics are, how to use them. The ones that they actually prefer. It is an art, though, because there is as much an art to it as there is the science of it. And some people rely on some indicators more than others, and so it basically becomes, how do you want to actually view it? What actually makes the most sense for you? So trying to find those videos and, educating yourself, again, researching and doing your own research on it can be beneficial. Another fun site is this one here, Coin360. It's just basically a heat map. So this is a quick glance of basically how the market is doing. What I typically do here is, because I know that you got the two behemoths. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are the two big guys. They're always there. So I come and I actually hide Bitcoin and ETH from the view, because I know pretty much the market just more or less follows Bitcoin. But this is the way I actually view it. So that way I could actually see some of the smaller stuff, from the stuff that I care about that's, a little bit on the bigger side, and the stuff that's a little bit smaller that I care about, is a little bit more visible.
What's it mean when it's bigger?
And market cap. So it's basically the bigger the block, the larger the market cap. So you can actually see that on the default view, Bitcoin dominates because it's basically is the market for the most part.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting to see BNB up there.
Oh no, yeah, the Binance coin.
Yeah. I haven't looked at this one. I honestly, I've kind of got away from looking at charts and graphs and stuff. It's been a while since I really looked at them. Mostly because I'm not doing a lot of trading. You're moving things around a lot more than I am. So it's.
I'm not trading as much right now. I'm compounding interest in decentralized finance world.
Yeah.
So, but I still watch basically the market, seeing where it's going, its health, because I'm trying to formulate my exit strategy.
Yeah. Right.
So, and then the last one, and then I don't know if you've been on this one for a while, because it's been a long time since I've been on this last one.
Okay.
So this is probably the most fun.
Oh yeah, that one is kind of cool. It's been a while since it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should
do. You want to explain this one?
No, go ahead. You've got a little more experience than I do, but yeah, it's more okay. So it's more of a visual, and you can expand off this. More of a visual of what's happening at the moment of purchasing and selling.
Right.
So
it gives you this one's called.
Go ahead. I don't know the name of it though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's called Fiat Leak.
Yep.
And so fiatleak.com, and basically what you're seeing is inflows of crypto into the United States. That's the default view. So if we wanted to say who is buying, where is he? Okay, let's go for the big boy, Bitcoin. So who in the world is buying Bitcoin? So yes, I did click on it. I'm waiting for the page to refresh.
Yeah, it's a little. There's a lot of data going on there, so it's a little.
Yeah. So yes, it is a worldwide market, 24/7, 365. So now the data is flowing. So we can see that in the past minute, we're ranging about $50,000 per minute in trades. So a lot of it's going in the US. I see some now going to Europe. Somebody in Japan that's Korea. Yeah, so South Korea.
Yeah. Interesting. So does this take do you know if this takes an account for mining also?
I don't know if it takes into account mining. I know that this is I think this is on chain.
Okay.
No, this is OKX, but okay, this is the DEX, the centralized exchanges.
Okay.
So this would not, but the bigger the bubble, the larger the purchase.
Yeah. It's just interesting that we got that much going on in the US compared around the world.
Well, you said what, 10% of the US is involved?
I don't remember. We looked that up last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can actually kind of see is it's like this is just kind of fun. You can actually see what the inflows, outflows are. You can actually see, what's going on, who's doing what. If you wanted to see what Japan was doing, you can actually select their currency. But a lot of these markets, these people are, asleep. But the thing is that you still see some trades happening because, think about this is that, there are bots that are running and they're doing automatic trades, trying to take advantage of these, fluctuations in the market.
Yep.
So, so the market's going to, keep going even while you're sleeping.
Click on XRP. I'm curious. If you don't mind.
Okay, let me go back. That should take yeah, it should load a little bit faster. And you're up here. Yeah. That answers that question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the audience what question that is?
Oh, I don't. What's my question? I don't know.
No,
I was just curious.
The article.
Oh yeah. Oh, about well, I don't. We've looked at so many articles. You gotta expand for me. Sorry.
The Ralph Paul one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whether or not you should be buying or not buying right now.
Yeah, is dead.
It's not dead. No. But it's just interesting. I mean, you can see the volume's way lower, obviously, but it's I don't know if the bubble, so you said the bubble size is kind of like the amount. It's interesting because I mean, I guess with Bitcoin though, it does people aren't buying as much because it's more expensive. So it's, but I don't know how. I'd be curious to know, like, is that bubble based? What that bubble is based on? Is it the amount of coins, or is it based on the dollar amount?
I think it's the amount of coins because they're saying 100,000 have traded. And there was 10,000 coins, 320. So there's some fractions. There's 2,100. There's 8, 24, 3.
Yeah. Ooh. South Korea seems to be.
Yeah. Let me go back to the main page. But yeah, so I mean, this one's a little bit more fun. Kind of less information, but really is just like the point was kind of a little bit of a where to start. I mean, doing research. I would say it's like between the lists that you get from the exchange you sign up for and using Coin Market Cap is basically you create a list or you basically a wish list of coins and then start researching them and then give each coin a grade that you decide on. If it basically is an F or you don't even want to bother giving F, just scratch it off, don't even bother with it, and then figure out how to distribute whatever you have to invest between whatever's left over. So whatever that list ends up being for you is, what you're going to end up investing in. And do you have any thoughts or?
No, not really. Yeah, I mean, I think
because we're trying really hard to avoid advice.
Yeah, we don't. Again, this is not financial advice. It's strictly recommendations. All disclosures. But yeah, it's again. I personally, I haven't been doing a lot of trading. I've mostly just been doing purchasing, increasing my bags during the low dollar cost averaging to lower my initial silliness when I was first learning this and buying when things were higher. So now I've learned, and things have it was hard to be purchasing, but while everything was low, it was the time to buy. So now my average cost that I've paid across is much lower than what it was. So I can potentially have exit strategies to slowly back out, in small percentages as things go up to kind of recoup some funds, or just wait till long term, see what happens. For me, most of this stuff is a long-term investment, just because I think we're very early in this market. There's a lot of things that could happen, but it also could go the other direction and be nothing. So we don't know. We're all here for the ride, and so
yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's like I definitely agree with that. It's like dollar cost averaging is definitely one of those lessons that I was late on learning as well. Is it's like because we both got in at the same time. It was 2019.
Yeah, just for COVID hit. Yep.
Yeah, COVID already hit. The bull market already started. The halving already happened. And it was just, and we just didn't know. We didn't know what we didn't know. And we were like, hey, look, it's going up. And it's like, yeah. And, we were still buying on the track upwards, which made trying to find an exit position really hard.
Yeah.
And then it was 4 years of pain. This market's different because you have to take a look at, the environmental things. And this is one of the reasons why we're starting this channel is it's like, take a look at the position of the way the government was back in 2019. You had the pandemic, really low interest rates that were near zero. And then the forced government shutdowns. So there was a lot of money printing, a lot of handing out. So it basically people had a lot of free capital to put it into interesting places, and one of which was cryptocurrency. So it just ballooned. It went to what, 3 or 4 trillion? I can't remember it. I mean, the total market cap of all crypto.
Yeah, I want to say it was 3 trillion. It was because we were like, whoa, I can't believe it went to 3 trillion because it was like 1 trillion, I think, or was it trillion or billion? I can't remember. But
Bitcoin went to 1.5, I think.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the market made up the delta.
Right. That's right. And again, it's small market if you think about it and you compare it to the stock market, but it's
right.
Again, and early. We're really early on this.
Really early. And we are really early. And so to get to the other side of that, where we are today, is that, well, because of all that money printing, there was a high inflation, and they hit everything. Now we have high interest rates. And nothing compared to the 1970s and 1980s. It's only 5.5 base, but credit card companies are taking advantage. I mean, everything's ridiculous. Trying to clamp down and get interest on the inflation under control. So there's not as much
tighter right now.
Everything's tighter. So
the market's not getting flooded like it was last time.
Mm-hmm. And so really, there's a lot of opportunities still. I'm seeing opportunities. Just because of the way the market is, I can't capitalize them on the way I would like to. I am, but at the same time, so again, is it's like, do your own research. Don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. And that's, just, pure, that's wisdom, not advice, but it's just wisdom. I mean, because it goes for any market. It's like you could buy a car and turn out to be a lemon that you can't, return.
Well, yeah, I mean, even working in the stock market, that's what people do. They look into the company that they're thinking about investing in. Look at like what they've done in the past, maybe who works for them. Where like the CEO's been in life, what they've done in their past. What if they're dealing with a product, what the product is. What other competitors are out there. There's so many things that people look at in a company before they invest in it. It's the same thing, in the stock market. Well, when why would you not do the same in crypto? It's and the thing is, if you're really good at doing your research, you could find something that hasn't popped yet because it hasn't really gotten popular. So but they have a really good ideas or whatever they're doing, and have maybe the company itself has been developed around successful people that have had success elsewhere and they know what they're doing. So there's lots of different things you can look at in order to decide where to put your money. But you got to do it smartly, otherwise that's why people lose money. That's because you just invest silly. These meme coins, a lot of times, I mean, you can hit big, and remember, you only hear about the good stuff. You don't hear about what people in the news, or on the internet, what the people who made the big money. You won't hear about all those people who lost all their money. And I guarantee there's a lot more of those than there is that hit the big money. So
yeah, I mean that's why we're pretty much I wouldn't say we're chasing, but we're looking at the Web3, the smart contract, the blockchains or the cryptos that are trying to bring utility along with them. that are trying to solve effectively real world problems.
Yep. Or improve things that are currently being done in a much better, more secure way of doing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is technology we're investing in here. So
Mm-hmm.
some people say, what are you investing in? It's not, there's no brick or mortar, or there's no product. And it's like, well, no, you're investing in the technology is what you're doing. That's the idea. At least that's what we believe. It's the technology. Some people may believe differently, but that's where we're at. So,
well, to break it down and this as simply is that when this is any blockchain in a truly decentralized blockchain is a series of nodes on other people's computers. So you could actually go to Amazon Web Services or AWS, and you can rent basically compute from them. You can build up run an entire desktop if you want remotely in Amazon, but you have to pay them for that. It's not free. So you have all these nodes, and the incentive for the people to run these nodes for a blockchain is some form of reward. And a lot of these smart contract proof of stake blockchains, they get rewarded when transactions go through. So if they actually run the block, they will get the transaction fee. So that's where the value comes in. There's an expenditure on the consumer side, and then there's a reward on the runner side. So the more runners you have and the more people on the network you have, the more secure it is. And that's where the actual value does, come from. Mm-hmm. And so that's why there is value in the network, because it's all about building incentives.
Right. Which is what you kind of do with your decentralized stuff and the staking.
Mm-hmm.
To help support that. Yeah. Very good. Anything else you want to talk
about? Anything in the news interest you?
Well, I mean, the one thing that kind of caught my attention today was the stuff's coming out about the attempted assassination of Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they're saying the FBI has been releasing a bunch of stuff that I guess they found potential bomb paraphernalia or potential bombs in the guy's car. Apparently he had a backpack where he broke down the weapon and was carrying it around. They're saying that it appeared that he was researching he researched the Kennedy assassination to understand how far Oswald was away from Kennedy when he shot him. Some crazy stuff's coming out. It's pretty wild. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go down that road, but it seems a little interesting to me. Just how they're kind of like the things that are being released is interesting. And then of course they're saying, it seemed like he was planning to come to other events, both with Trump and Biden at them, with with potentially trying to do something, blowing something up or something. I don't know. That's there's an implication there, like they're implying something that to it. I feel, at least the news was. So I don't know. It's just funny. It's just It's kind of like I don't know. I just get kind of red flags start going off. I'm like, this is interesting.
There is so much that's come out about that. That's just, it's easy to toss, shade.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is they're honestly, I feel like what it was is they were trying to level the playing field. They're trying to say, because there was the big thing about that the Biden administration had something to do with this because the way the Secret Service essentially kind of let it happen. Mm-hmm. That's the way a lot of people felt. And the Secret Service is ran by the Biden administration. It's so it's just interesting how the news tries to sort of flip that around, I guess, to make it like, oh no, it wasn't Biden, and there's no way. Look, he was coming after him too. And it's like, And that's the part I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, but
yeah, there was so many videos and things that have come out that you had people just spotting him, several minutes beforehand. It's like, hey, there's somebody up there that should be up there. This is, telling cops saw him. It's like the whole thing just kind of reeks.
Yeah, it does.
No.
And then I mean, I don't know 100%. I don't know if the news is making this out too. But the other thing was they're giving Trump a hard time for going to the National Cemetery in DC, and the problem they're having is he was kind of using it as like a photo op, and I kind of have a little problem with that too. If that was the case, because they're not supposed to do that. I'm not sure if that's what was actually happening. If it was meant to happen that way, if it just kind of turned into that because he was there and people want to take pictures with him. I'm not sure, but that's the big thing he's getting right now. And of course, Kamala jumped on that bandwagon, just saying that it's a disgrace. And but to me, it's like I've always heard Trump was very military friendly. Like he's always he's put, he's always kind of like respected them very well. So if he did this, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was potentially something that just inadvertently happened and wasn't his intention. But I don't know. Or maybe it wasn't even him. Maybe it was just his staff. They saw an opportunity but yeah, I mean, I guess there's actually a regulation against him coming in, any standing president or political person coming in and conducting a political kind of agenda while you're there, essentially. I mean, you can come, but this is the thing too, is like how long a president's been going there and going to the Tomb of Unknown Soldier ceremony and laying a wreath and stuff, and people are there taking pictures and you see it on the news. It's the same thing. It's so I don't know. I feel like the news might be blowing it up more than what it really was. But
well, I mean, yeah, there's two sides of that. Even without being a previous president or currently running, he's extraordinarily famous. So being caught up with people wanting to take his picture doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is that from what I understood about the ceremony is that it was a special ceremony to honor the people that died during the botched, withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Oh,
and so, and the thing is, though,
I like it.
Yeah. So, and he was the one that showed up, not the current administration that actually executed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so there being bad press about him being there does not surprise me.
That's kind of actually that's what his running mate said too. Is like he showed up. Where were they? They weren't there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends on what channel of news you watch.
So the only real article that I have, since we're early, and I didn't read the whole thing, but there has been some talk about the banks attempting to do being a custodian for crypto. Honestly, I don't want a bank custodying my crypto, especially with the way a lot of the laws are written. But there's actually an opinion piece on CoinDesk, and the headline is "Crypto is now a non-negotiable for traditional banks." And the TLDR is said he gets basically far enough into this, saying that it's not just enough for banks to custody. Banks need to figure out how to integrate with crypto and become part of it.
Who's saying that?
This is CoinDesk.
Yeah, but I mean, who's saying they should do that? CoinDesk is saying that, or that was somebody?
Lucas Schweiger. I'm probably mispronouncing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that is.
This article came out today. I sent you the link.
Did you? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure because I mean that's interesting. Because again, that goes right back to XRP because I think that's what XRP's been trying to do.
Yeah. So he gave basically 4 big bullet points: diversify product offerings, staking as a service, tokenization, and blockchain powered settlement.
Yeah. Let me see. Who is Lucas Schwager?
Trust the most bank's most valuable asset.
It's a digital asset research manager at Signum Bank. So he's a banker. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he focuses on crypto.
Okay.
It's just, his primary interest of layer one protocols, real world asset tokenization, DeFi, and on-chain capital markets. So I see. Oh, well, that's interesting. I mean, in a way, if you read through the lines there, he's kind of saying either get on board or get out of the way, because
You're going to get left behind.
You're going to get left behind. Exactly. And I think that's where I'm always saying is XRP kind of has that. They're sort of trying to be that middle road. Like we can integrate with the banks, but we're still moving forward. As crypto, and it's kind of like, I don't know. That's again, well, that's why it's my favorites. So it's.
I mean, yeah, it's like there's a lot to this. Between XRP, Algorand, there's a lot of them that are attempting to do this and do integrations, but at the same time, but with as easy as a lot of wallets are to use, between self-custody, you basically effectively become your own bank.
Yeah. No. Yes, I agree, but some people are not going to be able to be okay with that. That's
again, it becomes jurisdictional, and if you have an authoritarian government,
right? But also like just people in general, like that's hard for some people to even understand, is the not to put your money in a bank. It's like now in over generations that will change.
Right.
I think the younger generations are much more open to it because they're growing up with it, they're seeing it, they're understanding it, they have a better knowledge about it. But people, a lot of people just this is what I'm used to doing. This is how it works. There's no other way. This is what I've known all my life. So it's hard to make that adjustment and change to not doing that, and not having that essentially that control over your money. So it's yeah.
I can definitely see that there's definitely going to be some growing pains. I mean, it just reminds me of that video of the news anchors making fun of email when the internet was new. And there's definitely, and that still kind of goes on because a lot of the news still makes fun of crypto, or they're trying to spread fear, uncertainty, doubt, the FUD about it. Just from looking at the fiat leak and just how much of this is actually moving around. And one of the biggest myths about crypto, that is one of the biggest pieces of FUD that is spread, is that it's used exclusively by criminals, for money laundering or for making their illicit deals. The problem with that statement is that crypto, there's a couple outliers to this statement, and literally it's a couple. But crypto is not anonymous. It's pseudonymous, which means as soon as somebody figures out what your wallet address is, not only can they find you, but then they can mind map it, find all your associates, and not only that, but they could actually trace where your crypto originated from. So basically, if it was Bitcoin, it's like this crypto was mined on this date from this address.
Very traceable.
It's very traceable.
Yeah, once it's figured out, it's very traceable. Yeah.
It's a public ledger. So basically, all that information is available. It's just a matter of pinning you to it. And as soon as that happens, you're busted. That's why why smart criminals don't use it.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, well, busted as in if you're doing illegal things. Yes,
right.
But
exactly.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, the way this government works, you would think they would be more on board with it just because of that. Because the fact is that now they could potentially have insight on everything you've ever done once they figure out, and you know, people aren't. It's amazing what information people will give up just because they feel like they trust, and that's what will happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like you're already giving it up with KYC because you KYC onto an exchange, to a centralized exchange. Now, I mean, you have a wallet there, you buy it, you now create your offline your wallet, you know, so you can self custody. You send it from wallet A to wallet B, and then even then over here, you're still having to say, it's like report on taxes. I did not spend this money. I didn't send it to somebody. I sent it to myself. So you're pretty much doxxed as far as the U.S. government's concerned.
Yeah,
they know what you have. You know, they know how much you have. They know where it is.
We're getting there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's I don't know. It definitely see. I definitely see the ability to potentially replace the dollar with crypto, just because of in the government finally potentially getting on board with that, just because of the fact that if people will be willing to give up their wallet, you know, their information that associates them with their, you know, with the wallet, then the government can track it all, and they would love that, I would imagine. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there'll be ways to get around that, and I think that's where the part they'll always struggle with. But you know, people do that. People do that now. You know, cash, literally cash. That's exactly what you're doing. You're. If you have cash, you're your own bank. If you have cash, the government cannot track it. So they do everything they can to do it, but they've never been able to. It's just think about it. You know,
it is a true statement. It's just like you do illicit deals, and one person drops off a briefcase full of cash, another person picks it up, an exchange happened, and nobody knows what happened.
Yeah,
you know, so I mean, cash is king when it comes to being anonymous.
Exactly.
You know, it's just like, and as far as the government's concerned, and this is one of the hilarious things. And for one of the few coins that's out there that are anonymous and, you know, for transactions is Monero. Now the IRS, I don't know if they still have the bounty up, but they put a $250,000 bounty for anybody that could actually break the chain to make it traceable. So I don't know if anybody's ever cashed in on it. So as far as I know, nobody has.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's the security aspect of all this. It's kind of like you're essentially, it's going to be a much more secure way to transact any kind of transaction, potentially contracts, financial, you know, and it could eventually, that's why to me, that's why I feel like we are so early. It's like if it really catches on, essentially, or if it really gets going, like I think it will, you know, I mean, the way that everything's going these days, the fact that we have to, almost everything you do now takes two-factor authentication. Everything. It's so frustrating that you have to have your phone with you in order to log into your bank account, in order to log into your email account. Everything's requiring that. And you think that's it? You think that's going to be the end of it? They're going to have to figure out, because eventually those will start getting cracked, and eventually they're going to have to figure something else out. This only, to me, is potentially the answer to get around a lot of that and secure things much better.
Well, I mean, there's definitely a reason why Bitcoin's been around since its inception. What, it's been 16 years now, 2008?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Runabout.
Yeah. It's been around for a minute.
Yeah. And it's never gone down, and it's never been hacked.
Yep.
Yeah, there's very few, you know, products, you know, that can actually say that. Yeah, so that basically does say something about it. Now, there's a lot of people trying to build layer 2s or layer 3s. You know, we could discuss what that means, you know, later date, but additional application pieces on top of Bitcoin. So it's now integrating with, it's not in Bitcoin, to actually to do smarter things to make it faster, to try to allow it to compete with what are these other things are doing, like XRP. because XRP is cheap, fast. It's cheap to send. It's really fast. A couple things that Bitcoin's not. But when it comes to that longevity, it's like Bitcoin definitely has that, provability.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. We shall see.
Well,
that's all we can do. I mean, fortunately, we're kind of young still, so we have some time.
Yeah, I keep describing it this way, and I'll keep describing it this way until the market does something real. We'll know the shift happens, and we're on the other side of it when we see a big shift to zero and a big shift upwards. In other words, a lot of crap just goes away. Well, there's going to be crap and some good stuff that goes away just because the market's basically cleaning itself up.
Right.
And good projects will die because of it. It happens. And the comparison is the .com bubble, and then late 90s. It burst early 2000s. Some decent websites disappeared, the e-commerce boom. But, out of that, we ended up with the Amazon and eBay, just from my memory. They were pre-.com, .bomb, and they were post. They survived it.
You're a .bomb.
Yeah.
But, well, and Google, Google, obviously.
Like Alta Vista. Nobody remembers what that is. It's just like,
oh yeah, ask Jeeves.
Right. It's just like that. There was a lot of things that were built. I mean, there's there's going to be a lot of good technologies, or you think they're good technologies. You did your research, but they just don't make it, and that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah.
Is there's going to be this shift in the market where things shuffle out, where some things go to zero. A lot of it should go to zero, and then a lot of these, and unfortunately, there's going to probably be a few that, rotten ones that do make it post. They won't survive long.
Yeah.
But mostly you're going to have the diamonds left over.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's for sure. It's we've seen it in so many things. Just, look at streaming services and stuff like that. Like look at I mean, if you think about Netflix, how they started out. Netflix was literally, all you did was go and order your discs online, right? That's how they started out. And then they started dabbling in the streaming service and stuff like that. But they morphed. But all those video stores like Blockbuster, the big ones. Yeah, there was a I can't remember the name of it. There was another one that sort of started doing that whole mail order, but with video games only. I can't remember, but yeah, you remember, right? It's like, I can't remember the name of it. But and those didn't morph, and like Netflix did. They didn't flip it over to just streaming, and they didn't survive. It's with. I mean, another one. Look at the. I can tell you the Uber and Lyft. It's the same thing. They've been kind of neck and neck, back and forth. At one point I thought Uber was going to be it, but then they kind of did some things, and then all of a sudden Lyft came out again. Because Lyft was kind of like the first one, if I remember right, and then Uber came into the scene, and then like Uber kind of became like this kind of blew up, and then now they've kind of like, I think they did something with their drivers and how they were charging them and how much money they were making and stuff like that. So like a lot of people switched over to Lyft, and now Lyft has become more prevalent. But it's like that struggle of who's going to be. Luckily, I mean, I think a lot of CEOs now are a lot more smarter than they used to be, so they tend to be willing to flip a little more and kind of morph to what they need to keep things going, and they can kind of see, based on history and stuff like that, on what's coming potentially, and react to it. And
it's interesting you bring those two up, because they're one of the biggest investors in car automation and AI.
Yeah,
because
Google was too, though.
Google was, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's like, because Uber and Lyft, they would make more money without the drivers.
Yeah. Well, not only that, they probably are foreshadowing that could potentially replace people in the seat. So they're like, not only could they make more money, but also like they need to be ready for when that happens. Or if it happens. I do think it's a win. I don't think it's an if, because I think we're on the cuffs of that. But I mean, we're already seeing it essentially. Just it's not as prevalent over here on the
we still have some
the
problems.
right coast.
Yeah,
The
we still have some
left
problems to
coast.
solve with AI.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the
agree.
article. There was an article that I saw recently that one of the new issues that came up with AI is that it's was starting to basically ingest its output, and basically it started a distortion algorithm.
Interesting.
Basically, even though that we have really powerful algorithms now to do large language models, and when it's given good, I mean, humans are not perfect, but to emulate human language, you can't get better than a human. Well, it started picking up its own output, and basically, it was the take a copy of a copy of the copy problem, and the output was turning into straight garbage.
Interesting.
So there's still things to solve in this. So it's not a solved problem. So we still have some years, but as we've discussed before on this topic, it's probably closer than we think. Yeah. But it's just interesting that it's like, hey, take a look at what happened with this.
That is interesting. I'm surprised it would actually read off of itself like that.
Well, the thing is that its output is effectively data on the internet, and if the internet or snapshots of the internet, it's its input.
Yeah, but I guess whoever wrote that didn't put something in there to recognize that.
No, I mean, but you don't. It's like you don't know who's using it and where and how. There's the Writers Guild, I think, had and for the movie industry or the TV industry, they had a strike because they wanted protections against AI scripts. The game developers had strikes because of AI generated art. So basically, it is you just don't know who's using it. Colleges, some professors, at least one professor came out and said, instead of actually knowing that the odds of their students turning into AI generated essays, have them actually turn in a self-graded essay, and they're going to grade the grade that they actually did. The assumption being that they had an AI generate the essay, and they're just going to turn that in. Yeah. So they're expecting to see something legitimately like redlined and graded, which means that they read it, they proofread it, and added in corrections. And so basically it's like, how do you get around these things? Because even like AI to detect bad AI, it's nowhere near there. It's just like there's a few products that attempted it, but they're like 10-15% success rates on detecting AI generated content. So it's an interesting problem. It's getting fun.
Again, early.
Exactly. I guess we're
wrapping up here. I'm done with my drink. So
yeah, same here. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, good stuff. So we'll see you guys next time. I'm Jesse. This is Jeff. And then next time. See you next time.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
All right.